had been through so many traumas in the previous two relationships, I wouldn't go on a date by myself. I would go out with a group. So that way, I didn't have to worry about if something was gonna transpire, or is he gonna try something, or am I gonna get home safe, or any of those things. I put myself in situations to where there was no way that I was going to have all right. Let's see if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me on? Yes. Okay. Okay. So let me start up. I don't mind. We're going. So, facing your fear. A lot of times we will, when we are faced with trauma that terrifies us, not so good, give us a little scary movie scare, and we go home and we laugh about it, and we may, sleep train. You feel me? I'm thinking about that. Mhm. All right, so hold on. All right. Okay, that seemed to be it's catching. Okay, is it still live?
Yeah, this still goes.
Oh, okay. You can hear me now. Okay. Okay, great. Woo. Okay, so let's try this. Rewind one more time. So when we are facing our fears, it's not. I'm not speaking of a fear that you get when you see a scary movie, or somebody jumps out of the closet and scare you. I'm talking about fears that come from real life traumas that will cause you to change your lifestyle to avoid it. And if you've ever had to deal with that, it's a horrible feeling. It is. it is truly scary. I've been there to where you hear yours on there. I can hear feedback. It's one of those things where you will change your life to avoid any type of connection with whatever has traumatized you. For instance, if you've ever been in an abusive relationship, have you ever found yourself not wanting to be anywhere alone with a man? If someone wants to date you, you find yourself trying to have couples dates, or let me bring my homegirls, or why don't you come here where there's a lot of people? Not even realizing it, you are still affected by what has happened, whatever that is. And so we take ourselves out of any type of situation to where I have to formally or informally deal with the traumas that I've had. So how do you deal with those? What is the first step of dealing with those? I was referencing, not knowing I wasn't speaking to you guys. When you get a scratch or a cut on your face, what's the first thing we do? We find some type of makeup or something and we cover it, because then we can't see it anymore. Out of sight, out of mind. If I cover it, I'm not self-conscious that it's there because I don't see it. So the same way we do with our fears. We bury it so deep so that now, if I don't see it, if it's not relevant, I subconsciously forget that it's there. But then what happens when you come home at night and you have to take the makeup off? That scar is visible. So what happens when you put yourself in situations to where you have to now face a fear that you've had? What do? When we have scars, guess what? Now we have to make sure our face is clean. Then we have to find certain ointments to make sure it heals properly. We have to take the necessary precautions to keep our face clean so that way it doesn't get infected and spread. What do you think happens to fears that we don't face? It spreads just like a disease, because then you become, I'm going to use abuse because I've been through that. You go through an abuse and you may start off as, you know what, I'm not dating anybody, but then that fear grows and it turns into, I don't want to be outside late at night by myself. I don't want to walk to my car late. I'm looking over my shoulder everywhere I go. Your mind even psychs yourself to make you think that you've seen the person that abused you and it's not even them. Have you ever just had a deja vu and something happens and it feels like you're reliving those feelings and you are about to lose your mind? And then when you come to the reality, you're not even in it. It's because we have not dealt with it. Me and the ladies here in the studio, we were having a conversation earlier. And we were talking about things that you have to acknowledge. Well, you have to acknowledge your fear. It's just like an AA meeting. Hi, my name is Jolie Rashawn, and I have been mentally, sexually, and verbally abused. I've put that out there in the atmosphere. So now it is relevant. So now what do I do to heal? What do I do to change? How can I go about my day and not feel like I can't deal with this? How do I go about my day and try to find love again if I'm too scared to even let someone approach me? I had been through so many different hurts and traumas that when my husband did approach me, I was so mean to him. And it was because I had already built a wall up. Nope, I don't want to deal with anybody. Nope, I don't want to date anybody because this is going to happen and this is going to happen. You already plan out your next relationship or your next situation based on a fear that was in something that was in the past that we never dealt with. You carry that fear on and on and on, and it begins to self-sabotage everything because you don't want to fear. We don't want to come to terms with what has caused us to live in a box, live in a shell. You don't even want to come out and talk about it. You ever ask people certain situations? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And it's like at some point you're going to have to talk about it. At some point you're going to have to come about. It makes me think about hoarders. They have a fear of losing all of these things. And then at some point somebody has to intervene and say, listen, This is taking over you. This is becoming a problem. We need to help you get over the problem. And guess what? They take the person away from the house and they start to move things. They let them help in so many different ways, but showing them it is okay to let go. Guess what? It's okay to let go of those fears. It's okay to be vulnerable and let go of those fears and face them. They are facing getting rid of things that they have been hoarding for years. And I'm not talking about 2 or 3 years. I'm talking 20, 30 years, excuse me, of things that they've had in their home that they refuse to let go of for whatever reason that has traumatized them. But when you start to throw things away, the fear that comes over them of don't take that from me. That's how we have become. The fear and what we've buried is a band-aid. Don't take the band-aid off because now I'm vulnerable. Now I have to deal with this. Now I have to feel what I felt. When you look at when people do hypnosis and they put them under, they're asleep and they start allowing them to talk out what has happened to them. If you notice, the closer they get to the fear that they went through, their body goes into shock without them even knowing. And then when they bring them out of the hypnosis, they don't even realize that they're still carrying that thing. They're trying to figure out, well, what happened when I went under? Well, baby, you almost had a whole heart attack because you were nearing a situation that you refuse to deal with. So how do we deal with our fears? Well, we have to first acknowledge what the issue is. But then we have to want to heal. You can't force somebody to heal. You can tell them the advantages of healing. Hey, listen, don't you want to be free? Don't you want to not have to look over your shoulder? Don't you want to be able to go outside? You know how many people have been through traumas where they don't even leave their house? I don't want to live like that. I don't think anybody wants to live like you don't want to live like that. But what do you do when you are just afraid, when the fear has just overtaken you? You seek help. That means you have to take the leap to say, let me talk to somebody about what I've been through. Let me talk to somebody about what I know is keeping me bound. Let me express my feelings to someone, and maybe that'll be the start of me healing. But you have to surround yourself with genuine people who are not going to judge you. If I come to one of my sisters and I say, hey, listen, I have this situation and I really need you to listen. I don't need them to be like, girl, let me put out my phone and record this so they can make a mockery of it on TikTok, on social media later. A lot of times we don't even talk about what's bothering us on the inside because everything is made a joke. Oh, look at this person. She's having a whole meltdown. Let's put this on social media, girl. Pull out your phone, girl, so we can get some followers. We can get some people to laugh. Ooh, girl, how many people comment on this? How many people like on this? Ooh, I done went viral because I posted this video. But at the same time, someone is hurting on the other end of that video. So you got to find people. Ask God to send you the right people to help you. Yes, we pray, but what happens when prayer doesn't work, or we feel like prayer doesn't work? God, send me the people to show me that what I'm doing is working. Send the people to me that's going to give me that extra push to help me to face it. Send me the extra people that don't mind taking time out of their day to come and just take a drive with me and say, see, everything is okay, Jolie. See, Jolie, it is okay. Come outside. And let's not just think of come outside as come outside the house. Jolie, come outside of your negative thinking. Jolie, come outside of being shut off from the world. Jolie, come outside of putting a covering over your purpose. We will put our purpose on hold because we're bound by fear. And some of us have multiple fears. It's not just one. We have multiple. And now we have to break down each and every one. today I want us to really sit down and think about, what am I afraid of? I can be the first one to say, I have a fear of not being able to breathe, of being alone, and I am not able to breathe. God, what am I going to do? Your first thought is to panic. You ever get choked to the point where it feels like you can't even catch your breath to get whatever has choked you out the way? That was a fear of mine. And it really hit home last Tuesday on Transparency Tuesday. I birthed Transparency Tuesday because I was put in a place where I had to face a fear that I had buried and had not been facing it. I got COVID last year, and that is one of the things that it attacked, was my breathing, to where I thought I was going to die because I could not breathe. And I had to share things that I didn't share it. I hadn't even shared with my husband, and he had to be like, wow, like, you never said that. You've never told me that when you feel like you're having a panic attack and you can't breathe, that I'll call people. And I don't even want to talk about nothing. Just be like, hey girl, what you doing? Because in my mind, I know if I can talk to you, I can breathe. So I had to psych my own self out. And sometimes I would call him and be like, hey babe, what you doing? Are you busy? Or text him, are you busy? And I know he's going to call if he's not. And the one thing he said to me was, I hope I have never been too busy to where I couldn't call you when you needed me. God always made him available when I felt like I was dealing with that. And so I told myself that I was going to start doing more things to where I have to work back on my breathing. That means I'm going to have to get a little bit of this weight off. It's as thick as I may be right now. Some of this going to have to be gone because I now have to worry about my health. And the fear of that, it has always, and it was just a lot. Right after that, I had to have, they had to dilate my esophagus because it was closing in. So it's just a lot of things that were affected, that the slightest little thing on the inside, I'm panicking and I'm trying to keep the outer intact. I'm trying to look like everything is okay. But sometimes you have to just be real about it and say, listen, this is an issue for me. I don't want to live in fear anymore. You have to get to the point where you're tired of living in fear. You're tired of having to put a Band-Aid on it. You tired of having to say, oh, girl, I got work. You know you ain't got no work. You ain't got no job, but you make an excuse of having work just so you don't have to deal with stuff. Oh, girl, mama wanted me to come. You and mama ain't even talking. But you will use whatever excuse to cover up that fear. At what point are we going to say, I'm tired? I'm tired of dealing with fear. I'm tired. And Tuesday, I got to a point, I was upset, y'all. I was upset that I could not make it up these mountains to see this beautiful creation that God had put together because I was fearful. What if? The what ifs. What if I do this and this happens? What if we've already done put the negative on situations that ain't even happened yet because we living in fear? What if I date this person? It's the same way. What if I date him and he do this? And what if I befriend these people and they don't like me and they talk about me? Like, we have some deep, deep traumas that we have allowed to dictate other situations that haven't even happened yet. Can you honestly look back over your life and see all of the decisions that you gave a decision for because of fear? And now you're having to say, well, what if I had went through with that? I wonder how that would have turned out. What if I had went through with trying to try this new thing? Where would my life be now? What if I had took that leap of faith? Where would I have been if I hadn't been? And people quick, stop being so scary. not knowing how deep scary goes for you. Some people see scary as just the surface. Oh, girl, it's just a little fear. Tomorrow I'm going to share another fear of mine and what God gave me, but I can't share it yet. I have to wait till tomorrow. But some people think that your fears are petty, and to you, they are life changing. So I want us to make a decision today to say, you know what? I'm literally going to write down the things that fear me, not scare me, not just, oh, girl, I don't like when the lights go off. That gets under me. No, what will cause you to make life-changing decisions and say, you know what, today I'm going to face these things. I go as far as writing those fears on your mirror. A mirror that you have to look at every day, not a mirror in a corner that it got a little dust on it and you don't go by that mirror, so you don't care what's wrote over there. No, go by the one that you see every day, that you got to pass going to the bathroom, that you got to pass to get in the shower. My mirror sits right in front of my shower, so as soon as I pull that curtain open, guess what? I see that mirror. So that's why I'm going to write my fears, because at some point, if I don't deal with those fears, it could potentially kill me. You have fears that will stop you from eating, or it will cause you to overeat. It will cause you to fall into a depression. Mental health, you guys have no idea how much mental health is a trigger in the Black community. And we're told if you go and see somebody, it means you're crazy. Well, call me crazy. But I need to face those fears. And it is actually something healthy to do, to let somebody be able to get deep enough to ask the right questions to pull those fears out of you. We were talking about triggers. You don't even know what you done buried so deep and for so long until you're put in a position that triggers it. And you like, oh my God, like, where did this come from? And then you start remembering, oh my God, I remember in 2010, when this situation, in 1997, when this happened to me, and here we are in 2022, and you don't even realize how far back your fears go because we have buried them. We say 6 feet under, baby. Some of us have been burying these things 10 plus years under. So we passed 6 feet. So how do we dig? People talk about skeletons in the closet, baby. What about the skeletons that we've buried? How we get those up to actually deal with them? I'm going to tell you this story that I saw, and it just came to mind. So I thank God for bringing things to my remembrance while I'm on these lives. Over in another country, it's probably maybe like, I'm going to say like maybe Indonesia, but like somewhere over there. Every year, I think it's every year, they have it. I can't make this up. They have it to where you get to, on a day, you get to dig up your loved ones and you spend a day with their corpse so you don't forget them, or that way you can you're not missing them as much. And when I was reading it, I was laughing because I was like, I know good way these people ain't digging up no corpse. But then as I kept scrolling, these families was taking pictures with the corpse. And they were happy because it was like, I got my loved one with me. What if we dug up our fears like that and faced them often? You know what? I got this fear of this, so let me dig it up to see if I'm healing from it. Let me dig this fear of being alone up and see and go a day when I don't deal with nobody, no social media, no family calls. I'm just having a day by myself. Let me dig up that and see if I'm okay with being alone. You know what? I got this fear of people following me. So let me step outside and go spend a day outside and not look over my shoulder and just enjoy being outside. Can you all actually think about what that would feel like to dig up those fears, but then to be able to say, yep, I'm still good with that. I'm still good with that. That's not a fear anymore. Yep, I'm still good. I done got over that. I'm living my life like it's golden. Yep, I ain't got to worry about that. You know what? Today I'm gonna take myself to the movies. You know what? I'm gonna go out to eat by myself. You know, I'm gonna take me some pictures. I used to go when I used to go out of town modeling. I went to Philadelphia with a boutique friend of mine, and I never forget. Her people had a party. They have basements in Philadelphia. Yes. So we had a basement party. It was very nice. And so I had made a post and I said, y'all, I'm over here chilling with Bay. And people got in their feelings because they was like, oh, you got a Bay? And I was like, yeah, let me post a picture of Bay. And so I posted up on the wall and I put my arm around Bay and it wasn't nobody there. And they was like, Jolie, you play too much. But I was okay with being by myself. So it was cool. I danced by myself and I kept taking pictures. I was like me and Bay on the dance floor. And then it became funny to people because they was like, okay, she played too much. But I was cool with being by myself. I didn't need a Bay because I saw how people with the Bays were acting. Bay ain't here and Bay this and Bay. And I was like, child, me and Bay chilling over here. We ain't having none of those problems. So sometimes it's okay to be by yourself. Sometimes it's okay to go outside. Sometimes it's okay to love on yourself. We don't always have to have somebody to love on us. We will get in situations because we are afraid of being alone, and then we bring on the bad that comes with just having somebody to say we got somebody. We ain't even checking no backgrounds. We ain't checking to see if they got nothing else attached to them. We just don't want to be alone. And then it comes with more fears because you have no idea what you're getting ready to have to fight off. So dig up your fears. Today is September 5th. And we are going to vow that from now on, we are going to start digging up these fears that we have had buried and face them. You ain't got to face them all at one time, but do a checklist. I got this fear of this. I got this fear of this. I got this fear of this. And conquer each fear at a time. And I guarantee you, when you conquer the first one, you're going to be excited about getting to the rest of them. Because you're going to see just how strong you are. Man, I was able to do that. God, you was able to help me do this. I was able to get over this. And I didn't need to go through this. And I didn't need to do this. Okay, what's the next one? Now I'm strong enough. I can do anything. But we will tell ourselves we're weak. Nope, I can't. When you speak out your mouth, you can't do something, you already defeated. Can't shouldn't even be in our vocabulary no more. I can't do that. No, I can't face that because this is what happened. Well, who said you can't do it? Did you tell yourself you can't do it? Did somebody prove to you that you can't do it? I'm competitive. So if you tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna prove to you that I can do it. If you tell me I can do something, I'm gonna prove to you that that's not possible. A lot of times people will egg you on to do things that you know you're not supposed to be doing. And once you fail, now that failure turns into a fear. Who has a fear of failure? Do you know how many businesses don't go anywhere because people are afraid to fail? Fail is a checklist. Okay, this didn't work. Let me check that off. Now let me add something else. So this didn't work for me. So let me switch something up. Failures are just pit stops. That's it. If you look at NASCAR, they go around that track, and every so often they gotta do a pit stop. They gotta check the tires. Guess what? If this tire ain't working right, they gotta replace it. Guess what? If their idea ain't working right, replace it. You know what? That one ain't working. Let me exit out. Let me put this idea over here. We steady growing. Instead of saying that didn't work, so I failed. You can't fail. Failure is when you stop. So don't let that be a fear for you. That used to be a big fear of mine. It's failure. What if I fail? What if I fail? Jolie, what if you make it? Jolie, what if you do this and you become this successful person? But if you keep saying you can't, you ain't gonna never know. So I faced that fear. So now if something don't work out, I find something else to do. Okay. That wasn't the path for me. Okay, I wasn't supposed to do that. So let me try something else. Okay, so that wasn't the route I was supposed to go. All right, sorry, God, I wasn't supposed to take that exit. I took that. That's like the GPS. You take that exit, she rerouted. You done jumped off too soon. Don't let it be a detour. So now you got to drive all the way around because you jumped the gun. No, it's okay. That didn't work out for me. So let me get back on. Or sometimes you see traffic and you want to avoid the traffic, but guess what? You were still supposed to stay the course. Now you got to do something else because you jumped prematurely. So face your fears. Don't let your fears conquer you. Once you've allowed that to happen, it's hard to get back on track. It is hard. I'm not going to sit here and say this journey is going to be easy to conquer your fears. It's not. It's hard. It's different. I'm not going to say it's hard. It's a challenge. But like with anything, take the challenge. They actually have a show called The Challenge, and they have different obstacles that they have to go through, and they have to work as a team until they get to the end, and it's individual. Sometimes we are so dependent on other people to get us where we got to go. Our fear is having to do things by ourselves. But guess what? Sometimes you got to do this. You got to do this by yourself. When you go on a job, in the interview, they say, can you work with people or are you best to work alone? That is a trick question if it ain't a trick question. They don't want you to say, well, I like working alone because that means you can't get along with the team. And then they don't really want you to say that I work better with people because then they know they can't trust you to get stuff done by yourself. So how do you answer the question? You know what? I adjust to however I need to adjust. Whatever you need me to do, I can adjust. And that's how our life has to be. God, if you have me by myself, I can adjust by myself. But if you bring a team, if you bring people in the midst, bring the right people and I can adjust with them too. Because sometimes we need that to help us get through. I'm grateful for the people that are connected to me now, because things that I may not be perfect at, they're helping me to become perfect. And things that they are not perfect at, I'm helping them. So we're working collectively. But then what about when they're not around and I have to do things on my own? Can I still do those things? And vice versa for them. Can they still, I was just telling them this earlier, can y'all still be great when your normal cheerleaders are not in the crowd? We like to be comfortable. We like to be in situations where we know we can control. What about when you can't control those situations? How do you show up? People don't like not being in control. That was a fear of mine. Telling y'all, everything hit me first. My fear was not being in control. That's why I don't like roller coasters. I don't like nothing that somebody else has to control for me. But God had to get me out of that, because sometimes you need that person to take control and guide you in the right path. But when we're so used to having our hand on everything, we will miss out on blessings. We will miss our own healing because we don't want to not let go and let someone else take control. And if you really want to get deep, we don't even let God take control because we feel like we should be able to control everything. Instead of having the faith to say, God, I trust you. I'm going to take this fear and move about. So let's make sure that our fears we're facing head on. And guess what? If the fear becomes too much, phone a friend. Hey, listen, I'm trying to deal with this. This is a lot. Can you help me through this? Can you come over and sit with me? We don't even ask for help anymore. Sometimes we just try to do things on our own. Help is not a weakness. Let me say that again. Help is not a weakness. It is actually a strength because you're realizing and you're seeing the wisdom of being connected with someone. That's going to better you. That doesn't mean you can't handle things on your own. I trust me. If I need help, I'm calling everybody. I need help. But that was a fear of mine as well. I don't want to ask for help because I'm the person that's usually the one helping. So I don't want to ask for help because now people gonna know that I'm in a position where I can't really help nobody. Who cares what other people think? We have to get out of that. My shirt says not my problem. Other people's opinion is not my problem. It's not your problem. Stop making it. We have to stop making it our problem. Well, they don't think I can speak good. They don't think I can do this good. They didn't like my book. They didn't like my podcast. Okay. But the other 5,000 people did. So that one person that didn't like it, so what? You're not here to please everybody. You're going to have your people that are for you, and you're going to have your spectators. But at the end of the day, the show must go on. So whatever the fears are, whatever, it does not matter. Show up anyway. Show up anyway. Show up. There's a picture that I saw on Facebook, and it has the black girl. It's like a cartoon figure, but it has all of these words written over her, all of these negative words of how people have seen her. But then I saw one that had all of the words of how she sees her. Oh, I'm sorry, how she sees her was all of the negative. But then how other strong Black women saw her, it was like beautiful, strong, powerful. How do you see yourself? If how you see yourself are negative, those are your fears. If I see myself as weak, that is a fear. So then how do I face it so I can start building up my strength, my mental strength, my physical strength, my spiritual strength, my emotional strength? If I look at myself as worthless, what do I need to do? What do I need to see to show myself that I'm worth more? I deserve more. What does that look like to you? And however it looks like, baby, that's how you show up. Even if you ain't got it right now, show up. Y'all, I like the joke. I have to be real with y'all. So today, I got up and I said, I'm gonna get dressed and put clothes on because me and Joel had to go somewhere. So I got up, I put some jeans on, I put my shirt on, and I put some heels on, I put a little makeup on. And my son came in the room and he got right here in my face, like in my face. And he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm not going. No, you going somewhere." Just in my face. And I'm like, "Michael, move. I'm not going anywhere." "Well, why you got that on?" Then the baby girl came in. Where you think you're going?" "Not going anywhere fancy. I'm just going to the Apple store, me and Joel." But they were looking like, "Okay, but why you had to get dressed up?" To me, it's not dressed up, but I was presentable because they're so used to me not seeing me get presentable and leave the house. If I'm going to pick up Joel, I throw on some leggings, a shirt, some slides, and I'm good. But I have to start showing up a different way to get different results. So if I want fears to be gone, I have to start showing up as if I don't have them, so I get a different result. People can tell something is wrong by how we show up or not showing up at all. People notice that. I remember she used to come around. She didn't even come around no more. What's wrong with her? Something must be wrong. Then people start putting things on you. A child must have been that time when X, Y, Z, and that ain't even what's going on. So we have to show up how we want things to happen. Listen, I'm tired of living in fear. So start showing up as if fear wasn't there. My fear is not being financially stable. Guess what? Then I need to start showing up like my bank account is full. And it don't even take a lot of money to do that. Put together what you got in your closet and you step out and look like somebody. Guess what? People gonna start saying, child, girl, you look like a, whether they mean it or not. Thank you. Keep speaking how I look. Oh, I look like I'm worth a lot of money. Okay. I'm an author, so I got a lot of money. Okay, God, that must mean book sales is coming out the woodwork. Okay, God, thank you. Okay, I look like I'm somebody. Okay, God, that means business deals and stuff is about to start falling through because that's how people see me. I went to an impromptu business meeting and I showed up with my briefcase bag. I was real cute, but I had a point to prove. I wanted to show this person, this is how I'm going to show up for your business. So if I want to show that to you, I need to show up to you. It don't matter if, hey, it's raining outside. Okay. But when we go to work and we have to go into that building, if they say don't come in here in nothing less than a 2-piece suit, some heels, some pantyhose, and a tie, guess what? Rain, shine, sleet, or snow, we're going to have on that 2-piece, some pantyhose, some heels, and a tie, right? So why not show up how we want to see ourselves for ourselves? Why not do that for us first? So that's what I want to see. I said, I'm finna start stepping out how I want it for what I want. If I'm afraid of these things, guess what? I'm finna start showing up as if I'm not. And the more I face it, the smaller that fear is gonna get. The more I deal with it, the more I come at it, the more it's gonna shrink back. That's right. Throw them punches, Catherine. Throw them punches. They over here throwing punches in the studio. So that's what we got to do. We got to show up. Take your fears head on. Your fear is nothing but a bully. And guess what? The only thing that's standing between you and your healing is the bully. So what you do to get the bully out the way? Sometimes you got to put your hands on the bully because they think they're going to punk you. Guess what? The bully going to put his hands on you. That fear gonna put his hands on you. It's gonna keep having you shrink up in the corner. It's gonna keep having you bound at the house or at the job. You scared of failure, so you don't move up on your job. You don't step out and start your business. You don't step out in ministry. You don't do none of those things because of fear. But guess what? If I stand toe to toe with my bully, and I get right in my bully face the same way they getting in my face, guess what? They gonna become smaller and smaller to where I'm gonna be able to step clean, smooth over him and get to my healing. So what's stopping you? Please know that every distraction, every bully has a weakness. Your fear's weakness is you facing it. So if we know that, if you know it's healing on the other side of that, guess what? You know you can defeat it. If you keep looking at it like a mountain, it's going to stay a mountain. How are we seeing our fears now? They don't look so big now, do they? So, September 5th, 2022, we are conquering our fears. One at a time. I thank y'all for tuning in. Thank my lovely guests for being in the studio. We will be back next week, Monday, with our 3rd episode of Truthful Conversations with Jolie. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a beautiful night. Love y'all. Be safe.